Hi students, welcome. So today we're going to be beginning our unit on analyzing texts. We'll be learning how to use strategies that will help us to understand or comprehend the material that we're reading and to remember what we think are the most important points. We're also going to learn how to identify main ideas within texts, and we're going to learn how to create a summary. And so these are strategies that we'll often use when we're reading for both school and for work. So I'd encourage you to think about how you'll use these in other classes. Think about the strategies that are working best for you. Remember, at the end of the term, we're going to be creating our reading toolkit with the strategies that we'll find most helpful for us ourselves as we move through our college program. And so you've been given a packet, right? Want to take out the packet, and I'm going to go over it with you now. And so we're going to be completing a textual analysis reading assignment. So we're going to be analyzing a text. We're going to look at an essay titled The Mighty Image by Cameron Johnson. You also have that printed in front of you. And so with this assignment, you're going to be introduced to reading strategies that will assist you in all of your college courses and other contexts, such as the workplace, when you need to understand and remember important information from texts. You will be asked to complete a 4-step reading process with this essay, The Mighty Image, and that will include pre-reading, active reading, and post-reading strategies, which we'll talk about today. So I'll ask you to complete the 4 steps that are below and ask you to type your answers for steps 1, 2, and 4 into a Word document. For step 3, you can complete that through handwriting and take a picture, or you can use an online annotation tool, which is called Scribble, which we used with our syllabus. So remember, in the first week of class, we used this Scribble tool to annotate our syllabus. You can use that tool again if you'd like, or you can handwrite your annotations. This assignment will be due next Monday, April 11th by the end of the day, 11:59 p.m. online in our Canvas course. And so you have plenty of time to ask questions. If you'd like to work one-on-one with me, we can meet during office hours or by an appointment, and I'd be happy to help you go through the steps together if you'd like. But today we'll get an overview of what we'll be completing, and I'm going to encourage you to take some notes so that you will be able to use this information when you complete this assignment on your own. And so please take out a pen or a pencil and a sheet of paper or your notebook. I'm going to share with you a PowerPoint presentation. This presentation is also posted in our Canvas site, so you can refer to it later if you'd like to. And so let's go over the parts of this assignment so you'll know what to complete. So we'll talk about some reading strategies that you'll be using today. You could title this as Reading Strategy Notes for Analyzing Texts, put today's date on it, and please use one of the reading or one of the note-taking strategies we've tried using in our class. Remember, we've practiced Cornell notes, we've practiced outlining, as well as concept mapping. So choose one of those 3 note-taking strategies to take some notes today. So you'll have this information to help you with this assignment. And so the first step that you're going to complete using the Mighty Image is a step called pre-reading. And pre-reading, what we're going to do is preview and predict. And so previewing is when we don't read the full piece yet. What we do is we preview, or we get an overview, we overlook, right, kind of analyze the text that we'll be reading before jumping right into reading. This is where we read the title, we look at the author's information, or we can look up the author, right, if we don't see any information written about them on the piece. We look for the publication date, and we read the first paragraph. And so what you will do is you will be using the Mighty Image. Let me show you that text, right? You have a printed copy of it. And so when you preview this piece, look closely at the title, look for the author's name, look to see if there's anything written about the author on this piece. If you don't see an author's biography, you could go online and search for the author, right? See what you find out. Look for a publication date, could be on the top or the bottom, and read the first paragraph, right? You're trying to get a sense for the piece. It's also helpful to look through the piece to kind of get a sense of how difficult it might be to read and what you think you might learn, right? Just get a sense of what the piece contains overall, but don't read the full piece yet, right? You're just kind of getting a preview, right? Kind of checking it out. And after doing that, what I will ask you to do then is to make a prediction. And so a prediction is also another pre-reading strategy, what we do before reading. And that's when we make our best educated guess of what we think the text will explain. So what might be the purpose of the article, right? So why do you think this writer might be writing? And what might be the thesis statement or the major controlling idea? You know, what do you think the piece might be about? Make sure to support this with evidence. And so what helped you determine the purpose? What helped you figure out what the essay is going to be about? Give some examples. Step 2 is thinking about your prior knowledge. And so there'll be 2 questions to answer, and you should type your answers into a Word document. So when we think about our prior knowledge, that is where we consider what we already know. And you have these 2 questions on your instruction sheet in front of you. And so switch over to that, right? Here are your prior knowledge questions. And so I'll ask you to write several sentences with lots of examples, right, of what you already know about the topic of the essay. And let's switch back over to our PowerPoint presentation. So after you answer the prior knowledge questions, then I'll ask you to annotate. And remember, we already tried our hand at annotation with our syllabus. And so now I'm asking you to work on annotation on your own, right? And so with each paragraph that you read, try to identify the topic sentence. So what is the key sentence in that paragraph where the author is writing about the topic or the focus of the paragraph and making a point about that focus or that topic. And so you might highlight all the topic sentences in yellow. So in each paragraph, you'd have 1 sentence that you highlight in yellow, and you could write next to that topic sentence. Then try to identify major supporting details. So what kind of specific examples is the author using to support their points that they're making, right, in the paragraph? You might also identify transition words. So how is the author kind of combining ideas together? Look for words like first, second, third, or additionally, or in contrast, or overall, right? Mark and define complex vocabulary terms. So you're going to see some vocabulary that's probably new to you. You might maybe highlight that vocabulary in green and look up the word online, write a little definition next to it. This way you can build your vocabulary. And most importantly, write summaries, questions, and reactions in the margins. So in the white space of the text, every time you highlight something, I'd like you to write why you're highlighting it, because it's easy later, you know, say a week or 2 weeks from now, it's easy to forget why you're highlighting the text. But if you have a little note, that helps you recall why you've highlighted the text. Also, I would suggest with each paragraph, after you read it, cover it up with your hand, and then in the margin, try to write from memory. Try to write 1 sentence that describes what that paragraph was about. This is important and helpful to do for when you create a summary. And so the 4th step of this assignment is to develop a summary, which includes the first sentence that will tell the reader who the author is, what the title of the piece is, and what the thesis or major controlling idea of the piece may be. So it could be something like, in the essay, right? And then the title of the essay, the author explains this, right? And so that's your first sentence of your summary. The rest of your summary should state the main ideas from the piece. If you've already, with each paragraph, covered it up and kind of written from memory what that paragraph's about, you'll be able to use those annotations to help you create your summary. Make sure that you use your own words, right? We want to avoid issues with plagiarism. We want to write the idea in our own way. Make sure also not to include specific details or examples. make sure to focus on the most important ideas from the text, and then make sure your summary is no more than a fifth of the main original piece, right? And so, for instance, if you had a 5-page essay, your summary should be no more than 1 page. Or if you have a 5-paragraph essay, your summary should be no more than 1 paragraph. And it's important to really interact with the text. Here's some examples of strong annotations, right? Where the readers are really interacting as they read. So we know that the person knows why they're circling specific things, why they're underlining things, because they've written notes in the margins. It's also important not to highlight too much or nothing will stand out. So here, this example that you're seeing, everything is yellow basically, right? And so why are we highlighting? Maybe we're not sure. So strategically highlight, okay? And at the end of your handout, you will see that there is a rubric that I will use to assess your work. Our goal is to meet expectations. And so you might use this rubric to make sure you've completed everything that you need to complete, right? So once you have your assignment completed, right, all 4 steps, come here to this rubric and you could kind of use this to make sure you've met all the requirements so that you can earn the full score of 20 points, right? So any questions anyone would like to ask or anything you're confused about? I'm happy to help. All right, okay, well, I'm looking forward to seeing your assignment. Again, let me know if you'd like to meet during office hours or through an appointment. I'm happy to work with you one-on-one, okay? Great, all right, have a great day.